requests this morning. We have a few people that want to speak this morning. We always try to do that first before we get into the real boring part of our meeting. So we'll go down to item 3, I guess, Robert?
Yes.
You're on.
Want to do the community ditch part first, if that's all right? Or is there a preference?
However you want to do it.
I got a package on here.
You have the floor.
Okay. Package done.
Okay.
I don't have a, just got 5. You want one? Sure.
Let me take that last one.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Had a problem on a community ditch, and I've want to sort of jump around on the packet. The want to look off my timeline here. It's sort of important. I had a problem with this ditch with my neighbor for years. Sometimes they would let me irrigate through it. Sometimes they wouldn't. They would take it out. And on page 5, I came down and asked where the ditch irrigated through. And this was on April the 6th. And they gave me a land profile. And naturally, I had never seen one before. I would have asked for that. And on the land profile, it showed exactly what I thought it should show. It showed that it was a regular farm because it waters with my other pieces. It shows that water's with. It shows a community ditch name. It's even a named community ditch. No locality, which would be correct because I'm on a farm. I did irrigating. And the turnout number. And that satisfied me. So I went with the owner and gave him some demand letters and went ahead and put part of the ditch back in. There's about, I'm going to jump around here, on page 2, the Central Appraisal District, this is an aerial photograph of it. It shows that there's probably about 400 foot of it that's never been taken out. In this picture, the smaller picture is from the end of it. This was taken on the 25th of July of this year. You can see it's got some Bermuda in it, but it's an ended ditch. I'm going to jump back. If you want me to stop or I'm going too fast, let me know. I know you got a lot to do today.
Explain this picture to me, Robert. I don't quite understand what you're saying.
Okay. On page 2.
Right.
My picture or the aerial?
Either one.
Okay, the aerial is my place is circled in red. I think, is yours a color photo?
Yes.
Yeah, mine is circled in red, and the ditch comes through my neighbor's property, which is the upper part of the page. Well, the ditch is on his property, and I've got a circle around there. That's the part that they haven't removed. And the picture is taken from the drain.
I don't, oh, okay, the circle, I can barely see it.
Yes. Yeah, it's where his field ends. You can see the field ends, and there's about 10, 15 feet there that's grown up. And the picture is taken from the end, from the river drain, looking towards Socorro Road. The smaller picture.
So in the smaller picture, the aerial land with no vegetation on it is his field?
Yes, sir. That's Mr. Maldonado. You know them. I think you all got your part of your farm from them, that family, Quadria, your father. Well, I'm now going to go to page 3. When I bought my property, it showed Marcus lower page. No, on page 7. I'm sorry. On page 7, this is his printout of his land profile of that parcel. And it shows that it's a 1.7 acre piece. It shows there's an locality, which it seemed correct to me, and I didn't get this until July. It shows the turnout number and the alcalde and the quadrilateral. Now I'm going to jump to page 6. No, that's a district resolution. I need to go to 4. Yeah, and part of the problem with this is yeah, page 10. This is what I got from the district, and this basically is the quadrilateral. It shows all the turnouts and all the checks from the heading on down. And this was printed in 2000, according to the district. Before that, they didn't know what parcels. That was another thing interesting too. In one of the meetings I had with Kathy and Mr. Reyes, they said that there was no record how my parcel, even what turnout it came from. And that's incorrect, because my original land profile, which was taken in January, April, that was a date that was given to me. So there was a named community ditch. Anyway, getting back to page 10, you get down to the .33, the turnout 33, which is circled there. I sort of circled them so you could see what I was talking about. It shows that Mr. Maldonado has 2.19 acres. Well, Mr. Maldonado only has 1.7 acres. His 1.7 and my 0.5, they came up with the 2.2 for Vasquez to order the water. So that they're watering, he's watering with me, which I wasn't even aware of until I got this printout. And the line below Mr. Maldonado,
Who is Vasquez?
Joe Vasquez and Paul Vasquez.
And they do what?
They farm.
I know, but they're involved there. They're farming his Maldonado?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I I had sort of raised Cain about it through the years. As a matter of fact, one time I even talked to the board about it before, I think before Larry was here. It was the Scove boy was on the board. And below that, also on the .33, on the Tarim, that's the named, the community ditch. In the acreage there, the 2.36, is exactly what Maldonado's piece, my piece, and the other piece add up to. There's another piece there that was Mr. Chavez's before that. And if you go to page 9, 9A and 9B, I have 3 other parcels below this, which are on a higher elk bench. I was going to explain benches, but Mr. Finn isn't here. Everybody else knows what a bench is. But the thing that is, the district went ahead and on my land profiles, the other 3 tracks, they put them so that I irrigated through this .33, and that was done on 5/29/15, which is shown on page 9, 9A and 9B. And
there was a turnout for those specific deals before, or what?
Yes, they irrigated off the other side. That's if you go back to page 10, that will show that. On page 10, on the turnout .57, shows that these irrigated off of that in 2000. They irrigated off of that. And now I've got three profiles from the irrigation district where they changed everything in ground. Now they say that. And I've got an elevation that was taken on page 13. This is by the NRCS. And if you go by the irrigation district's records, now that they've switched everything around, they're saying that these 3 parcels irrigate with a bench that's 3.6 feet higher. In other words, they're telling me from their records to try to get all this the way they want it. Now they're going to tell me that these other 3 parcels irrigate off of a bench that's over 3.5 feet lower. which is insane.
So what is the problem, and I mean, there's many things I'm trying to.
Yeah, I understand
What you're saying, exactly, so, what is the problem, and what is your suggested resolution?
Well, my problem with it is, Johnny, is this, the irrigation district has taken the position that there was never an irrigation ditch there, a community irrigation ditch. And I've got photos, I've even got some out of Arizona and stuff, that show that it was there. I'd like to have that they don't know that there was a community ditch there, or I've got an uphill battle because the irrigation district has taken a position that there was never a community irrigation ditch there. And I've got pictures to show that.
Turnout.
There is a turnout that flows into Marquez's property, where he irrigates from.
You know, our responsibility ends at the turnout.
Right, and what I suggested to both Mr. Kimball and Mr. Marquez is that they, in order to resolve this, that they get themselves their lawyer and battle it in court. The problem has been is that Mr. Kimball went in there and built a ditch in Marquez's property without Marquez's permission. And then Marquez went out and took out the ditch. So Kimball had been irrigating with the overflow from Marquez's property for years.
Well, no, Chewy, that's not true. On page 16, it shows where I had irrigated, and I believe this is 2010. I would put the ditch in and irrigate it, and Mr. Vasquez would then take it out. As a matter of fact, on the page 4.
Like I say, Robert, I don't know.
Well, my problem with it is this. Now I've got 3 parcels that cannot irrigate the way the irrigation district says that they irrigate, which, you know, Jay has got a problem, and I had a farm that I leased down there where we're irrigating out of places we shouldn't. And my position is this. Y'all have taken a position that there was never an irrigation ditch in there.
We shouldn't take a position on whether there was
Exactly.
or wasn't.
That's exactly correct.
Our responsibility ends at the turnout.
Exactly.
I'm looking at a memorandum of agreement here between you and Ismael Marquez,
Yes, sir.
dated the 11th day of August 2015. Does this not take care of the situation?
It does, in my opinion, but he continues to backtrail, and Mr. Reyes and his lawyer have given them that I am trespassing, I shouldn't be there, blah, 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 blah.
But this is an agreement that he signed.
Yes, it is.
The resolution to this stuff, I think, has to be in the courts, as Chewy says, between you and him. We deliver water to head a turnout. The problem with all that area over there is the way it was all subdivided to begin with. And it's been a real problem for everybody because it was done incorrectly, and there's any good filed subdivision with anything done. So that's what's caused all the problem. But besides that, I don't know what the district can do other than deliver water to the turnouts that go to your property.
But the thing I'm having a problem with is this, John. The district has taken a position that there was never a community
The
ditch.
district should take no position on any
Exactly.
community ditch.
That's exactly my position.
We don't know, if we have a turnout, we deliver the water, the ditch past that point, it's y'all's problem. the landowner's problem.
That's exactly what I thought.
So, I mean, if we have taken a position, we should not, because whether there's a ditch or not, if he orders water, we deliver it to the turnout. If he owns that turnout, then it's up to him and his neighbors, as far as I'm concerned. Am I misstating that?
No, you're right.
We're right on the law, I think, and
The only thing we did is that I had both Kathy and Robert and I went out there, and Robert, you know, and I'm relying on Robert's 43 years with the district, that he says, true, in my 43 years, there never been a ditch here.
well, it doesn't matter to us, okay? I mean, he owns the land.
Just the turnout, just the turnout.
The turnout, past the turnout's not ours. If there wasn't a ditch, there wasn't a ditch. Robert bought the land, and the other guy bought the land. It's their responsibility to work it out. We deliver the water to the heading, the turnout,
Yes.
and you guys open it or close it. and let us know. We let you know when you can and when you can't. But as far as where there's a cement ditch, or a community ditch, or a community pond, or a dance hall, then we don't have anything to do with that.
That's fine.
So if you guys have taken that, our position has always been, our responsibility ends at the turnout.
No, that's fine.
And the rest of it, y'all have to work it out. Looks to me like you have an agreement.
I agree.
If he's backing up, then you need to go back to this same outfit and work it out. So if you get it resolved, and we can't turn water loose in ditches that are real weedy, we can't turn water loose into ditches that are in ill repair because it's gonna cause damage. Now, we don't do that, and the law requires that we don't do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm stating that.
Yeah, my problem
So
is.
y'all need to get your ditch problem solved between y'all.
Yeah.
You get your ditch problem solved, then we'll deliver the water.
Okay,
The ditch
yeah.
needs to be in place.
Yeah, because it was the email here on page 1 that the irrigation has never committed ditch in this place of this location. That's what I'm fighting.
Well, like I say, there needs to be a ditch in place for us to release the water.
All right.
And-
Robert, who is Mr. Vasquez's attorney?
I don't know, it's supposed to be they've never contacted me. It's supposedly an Escobar, isn't that who it was?
I don't know.
That's what somebody told me, but yet he's never contacted me or my attorney.
You get the ditches fixed?
No, he's continued to dose them out. Oh, I'm sorry.
I said, y'all get the ditches fixed, where we can turn it into a ditch, and we can do that, because we can't turn water into ditches that are full of weeds or in ill repair where it's gonna cause damage to us. Any community ditch is that way.
Well, what brought this on, Johnny, is he's gonna put in a 100-unit apartment complex, he's gonna take the ditch out entirely.
Well, that's for you to fight.
Yeah. All right, the next problem I have is on these packets of the, I've got a turnout that I've had since 1980, and this is, the page 1 of this is my second bill, and they put the rating on it at 6 cubic feet per second. And we've gone round about this for years, and it's a small turnout, it's an 18-inch turnout that actually measures 17.5 inches. And for years, on page 3, we had it settled at one time at 3.62, and we settled here for years at 4.12. And this year, they just decided to assign it a 0.6. And I came in and talked to Kathy about it. I sent her an email, and she said, that's just the way it's gonna be. I didn't agree with that. I sent Mr. Reyes a letter. I hand-delivered it. He wasn't here. He never received a letter. In talking about this other ditch, he said that he had never gotten a letter, and Kathy had it in her packet. Also on this, the community ditch there, on the bottom, that they charged me 8 cubic feet per second. On page 6 are photos. This is a community ditch, and as you can see, I'm using very little water there. It's a small ditch. On page 7 is where the Vasquez is using it, and that's the 8 CFS, and he's actually blown out the ditch that I had there with his 8 CFS. I've gone through I've contacted the district within the 15 days, as they say, to make adjustments. And with Kathy, I don't seem to be getting anywhere with anything. And the letter that I had given to Mr. Reyes never got to Mr. Reyes. It was in Kathy's folder. So I don't know what else to do. It's been going on for the time, and
Okay,
I'll get with Robert and Kathy.
okay, because, I mean, if there's a problem and there's a question, then we should meter it. I think that's our
well,
policy.
that's the problem too, Johnny. The years it's been metered 3 or 4 times, and every time in the letter to Mr. Reyes, it's always a higher number. So I asked him, I said, well, was the metering before incorrect? And when they meter them, you know, that they like to
You're
meter.
missing my point, Robert. What I'm saying is that in our policy,
Yes.
is that if there's a question about it, and a continuing question, then we normally meter it, and then we adjust accordingly. I can't
That's
speak
fine.
to why it's like it is, but under any circumstances that I'm aware of, our policy is that we'll meter it. I mean, if there's a big problem, and see what it is and kind of come up with an average on the deal. So
Yeah.
you guys will work on that?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. All right. We have the city of San Lazario on item number 4 here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maya Sanchez, Mayor of San Elizario. Thank you, President Stubbs and Board, for allowing us to be here. I just want to state that as one of the newest cities in Texas, we have a blank slate. We have an opportunity to do a lot of things right. And some of those opportunities mean engaging in projects that haven't really been seen in this region, but have worked throughout the country. We see a little bit of it in the Upper Valley, but we're going to present to you an idea that I know that there's some safety concerns and some legal matters, but we still want to present what we'd like to potentially see in the city of San Luis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I want to beg your indulgence and patience on this. This presentation takes about 10 minutes. I think we won't go over much. And we hope there will be some questions and discussion at the end. We really hope this topic will provoke some discussion. So, the city of San Elizario has an exciting proposal for your consideration. With this board's approval, and assuming we are successful in securing state funding, the city would develop a safe, well-managed recreational trail strictly for use by pedestrians and bicyclists along the banks of 2 short segments of your district's irrigation canals, thereby linking Ted Richardson Park on Alarcon Road to the city's central cultural district. This project, if approved, would be a signature example of the shared use of publicly regulated waterways for public recreation. Folks, this is not a new idea. For many years, all across this great country, publicly regulated canals and waterways have been hosting compatible uses such as recreational pathways. Trail users following waterways often feel more connected with the surrounding environment, and water managers, for their part, see the benefit of a well-managed trail with public safety baked into the design. They are all too familiar with the inherent dangers and the liability associated with unregulated travel along unimproved canal banks. Thus, the shared use concept is truly a win-win situation for everyone. There are countless examples of recreational use along publicly regulated waterways. In each case, experienced design professionals have met the challenge of providing for public safety while accommodating the need for safe access by district maintenance vehicles and adjacent property owners. Thank you, that helps. Here in San Elizario, public recreational facilities are very scarce indeed and are woefully inadequate for the city's growing population. Safe, attractive alternatives are needed for non-motorized mobility within the city. Moreover, high-quality amenities like parks and trails are absolutely essential to help attract cultural and heritage tourism to our community. Ted Richardson Park is located exactly at the midpoint of our proposed trail. This important amenity is central to our overall vision for recreational development in the city. Currently, you can only get there by car or by walking along a dangerous road shoulder. In the final analysis, recreational development can contribute significantly to the health status of San Eli residents. This echoes the U.S. Surgeon General's recent call to action to expand opportunities for non-motorized travel all across the country. Physical activity and exercise are key to maintaining health status, but without proper facilities to promote such activity, we are truly at a loss. So this is the proposal. With Texas Parks and Wildlife funding, the city would construct a 1-mile circuit trail beginning and ending near the center of Sanelli's historic district. Only about 4/5 of a mile would actually follow irrigation canal banks, and the trail would connect our beloved Ted Richardson Park to the city center. The trail surface would probably be compacted stone dust 9 to 10 feet wide over most of the trail length, except in a couple small areas where site limitations require a somewhat narrower path. The grant-funded project budget would include trail appurtenances such as bike racks, crosswalk markings, one bridge over an intersecting canal. This would be a very small, inexpensive bridge, plus cautionary signage for trail users. To fund this project, the city would submit an application next year for a Texas Parks and Wildlife Recreation Trails grant. Here's the proposed layout, which you also have in front of you in your information packet. Besides the trail length, you will note here that the proposed trail would pass by a total of 23 abutting properties, 20 of which are privately owned. So just absorb that while I fumble with my pages. As I mentioned at the beginning, the San Luis Sario's overall vision for recreational development in the community would include this proposed trail, as well as some significant improvements at Ted Richardson Park, situated at the trail's midpoint. The city has already applied for funding to improve the park, and we hope to hear word of a grant award in the near future. The City Council sees this major park improvement project as a fitting tribute to the benefactor, Ted Richardson, who gave so generously to make this park a reality nearly 10 years ago. A trail linking the park to the town center would certainly add to that tribute. Admittedly, there are several issues surrounding the whole concept of shared use, but we believe we have a satisfactory solution for every single one of them. Far from compromising public safety, a well-developed, carefully organized recreational trail in San Elisario would go a long way towards formalizing the public's usage of the canal banks, usage which is currently chaotic and virtually unregulated. District maintenance vehicles and the occasional farm machinery would continue to have unimpeded access over the canal banks. Experience has shown that bicycle and pedestrian traffic can be well controlled by posting cautionary signage and undertaking periodic public education efforts. Regular trail maintenance, including but not limited to litter control, would be fully covered by the City of San Elisario as part of their budgeted functions. In the unlikely event of a mishap along the trail, any settlement costs would be covered by the city's liability insurance. Okay. With respect to the district's legal authority to host a recreational trail on its canal banks, your attorney has provided us with his opinion on the matter. However, we ask you to consider the following. First of all, we read in the Texas Constitution, Article 16, Section 59, cited as your source of authority for the district, that the conservation and development of the waters of rivers and streams, for irrigation, power, and all other useful purposes are each and all hereby declared public rights and duties. We also note in Texas Water Code, Title 4, Section Chapter 55, which provides for several enumerated purposes of a water improvement district, admittedly not including trails, but which at least to us appear to be permissive in the nature of the wording, using the word may rather than restrictive, as in shall only. And finally, we see that subchapter E of the water, chapter 55, clearly states that your district is granted the power to regulate boating, camping, and recreational and business privileges on any land or water owned or controlled by the district. The city can help you achieve this objective with a safe, well-regulated recreational trail. So, far from seeing an exclusive focus on irrigation in this statutory language, we actually see possibilities here, and we hope you do too. The following points should also be kept in mind. Texas Parks and Wildlife funding requires that trail design be performed by qualified professionals. Design professionals would thoroughly investigate the entire project site for potential hazards and traffic conflicts. And the trail would include cautionary signage and all necessary design elements to ensure public safety. I can also mention, please bear in mind that trail design must meet strict federal criteria. Texas Parks and Wildlife simply will not fund an unsafe trail. All trail design elements would be covered by the city's and Parks and Wildlife project budget, and trail maintenance, as I mentioned before, would be covered by the city budget. So managing shared use for the benefit of all would involve the city and water improvement district adopting use and maintenance guidelines via an interlocal agreement, which would need to be drawn up between your district and the city. It would involve posting cautionary signage on the trail, undertaking a high-profile public education program, including trail maintenance in the city budget, and the city managing insurance liability. When it comes to liability, the bottom line is this. Currently, with unregulated and often chaotic use of the canal banks by joggers, dirt bikes, and ATVs, the district may be fully liable for any mishap that may occur. And with the current poor travel conditions on the banks, a mishap is far more likely to occur. With an organized, improved trail that is regulated and maintained by the city, liability would fall under the city's insurance coverage. The Water Improvement District's liability would be significantly reduced, if not eliminated. Moreover, motorized vehicles such as ATVs and dirt bikes would be prohibited on that part of the canal banks. So, in conclusion, we see that scores of communities all across the country have done this successfully. We believe we can do it right here in San Eli as well, and even turn it into a model for the region. Thank you. That's the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, we really would like to stimulate a dialogue on this topic. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? You got it? Do you have something else to say?
Unless there's any questions, I actually just wanted to state the city's commitment to the agricultural history in our city. We didn't create a city to become a city. We actually created it to protect the lifestyle that we cherish out here. In my opinion, and as the leader of this city, I would like to see that agricultural history remain. It's actually why I moved back to San Luis in the first place. So first and foremost, we wouldn't want to impede on any of the agricultural community and work that's being done. And of course, the irrigation district is vital in that component. So that would be primary for me and the city of San Luis. Thank you.
Okay, do you all have any questions, any comments?
No, it's just, my thought is, it all sounds real good, but we as a district have some input in there to know if, talking to Mr. Reyes about, upkeep and everything, our equipment going through the bank and everything. What is it gonna cost?
Can I respond to that?
I'm not
sir?
talking about cost, I'm talking, are we gonna be able to
Yeah.
get through all those banks and everything?
May I respond to that? I've seen numerous cases of trails in other parts of the country, and I know they exist here in Texas as well, where pedestrian bicycle trails have to negotiate with other vehicles that occasionally have to use the same area. These include maintenance vehicles, occasionally farm machinery. We would put up appropriate cautionary signage funded through the trail grant, not funded by you folks. As far as I can see, the district would not have to pay a dime for this, and that's an important takeaway message. We would be going after a grant for this. It's up to a $200,000 grant, and there's a local match required, which would be covered by the city of San Elizario. So this shouldn't cost the district anything, and your maintenance vehicles would continue to have unimpeded access. That's a must.
Let me explain that I spoke with Mr. Niels and the mayor on Friday and told him that my legal opinion is that the district has only the authority to engage in irrigation activities, not recreational activities. For example, you couldn't build a permanent water park on the side of the bank. You couldn't put in a Ferris wheel or a carnival to raise money for district activities. The only thing which I did not discuss on Friday that we could think about, I suppose, is a license. The problem is, we have licenses for people who cross our facilities for other purposes, sometimes municipal, sometimes private, whatever, but they don't stay on our banks for recreational purposes. But, you know, if the board would like for Phil and I to visit with these folks and see if there's some way we could work out a license, we'd certainly have to do that.
I mean, just for engineering's perspective, that's the first time we've heard of this. No application's been made. We haven't done any analysis or have any recommendation other than from looking at the alignment they proposed in the presentation. That's already is a restricted use area in an agreement we have with the historical commission, so we have restricted activities on it already. It might make it more compatible for their proposed use. I don't know. As I say, engineering hasn't, no application's been made, and we haven't done any evaluation of the project.
Al, do you know about, does this get involved with the U.S. condemnation on any of those bridges for the Border Patrol?
No.
Or Comanche gas lines?
I don't know.
No, what they elected to do, Jim, was find an alternate route, and they are utilizing some other property to get to the job site rather than build a bridge or span the San Elizario main.
They being who?
They being Border Patrol and pipeline, close.
You know, they had backed off on Iota. They're plunging full speed ahead with Fort Erie coming up.
We're getting off subject.
Yeah, we're gonna, I don't believe there's any alignment. Remember, this is a restricted use area. We've got an agreement in place that we.
For the purpose of this morning's meeting, I mean, we understand y'all's goals and aspirations, and they're admirable to do anything for the benefit of the citizens of your city. This is a very difficult issue for us to resolve. Mr. Spears offered to visit with you guys and see if it's legally possible. We have to act the board in the most legal manner and in the best interest as far as our constituents are concerned. You guys need to visit, I think, and if there is any light at the end of the tunnel, then you'd have to file an application with engineering, and we'll go through the whole process. The board can't act on on anything
No,
unless all
I
of that
fully
stuff is
realize
done.
that. I didn't expect an ultimate decision today. don't worry.
Right, so anyway, we appreciate your time and your effort, and then if you guys will get together, Chewy and Jim and engineering also, because they just brought to light something that I don't think any of us had even thought of, and that being the restriction from the historical.
I would think there's some compatibility there because.
I would think so too.
I'm not saying there isn't, I'm just saying there's always issues that come
No,
up.
there's always issues.
If people are
This
not
would-
involved to make sure that this is all done correctly, so
Yeah.
we thank y'all for coming in this morning. and,
Can I just make one comment to follow up on Mr. Spears' comments? The idea of a license to do this is intriguing, and I just want to mention that Texas Parks and Wildlife would actually require us to enter into an interlocal agreement with the district. So I'm kind of conflating.
Well, y'all work all of those are the nitty gritties, the legal aspects, and y'all work on
But it
those.
seems to me that there should be a way to do this. So the interlocal could be like a license or could include a license appended to it.
Well, we'll get with Mr.
Well, I
Spear.
say you're into the nitty gritty, and that's
Right.
stuff y'all have to work
And this is
out.
Mr. Phil Bowen, he is an attorney for the district also, and
Please.
he and I would work with you.
Wonderful, I will
Great.
read my
Okay.
part.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right, I see Mr. Joe down here, and I know he's here interested in, so we can move along, so we'll type his day over. Let's get that taken care of. Got a fan calling in.
Chris Rich.
Is that Chris Reed?
It's the only one that has the number.
All right, let's go to item 15, and it's consideration of the bids for some cement for the cement lining of the Riverside Canal. And I guess I'll let you take this.
Yes, and I would rely on engineering. We've got to give our recommendation.
They're in the packet.
Okay, but y'all went out for bid.
15.
Yeah, this is
15
shotcrete, it's concrete for fiber reinforced concrete, right? For the Riverside, primarily for the Riverside. We have several other projects, so we've got a large range in the amount that we could purchase under this proposal, this bid. And all the proposed bidders meet our performance requirements. And so we recommend to go with the lowest bid price, which is CMEX. What section in our?
It's 15D.
Page 146.
15D.
D.
Okay.
That would be,
16,
for any quantities we should purchase, it'd be $98 a yard. Okay, which is $3 on them.
Gentlemen, floor is open for discussion or any kind of a motion, action, resolution, hearing. You have the bids in front of you.
We've got them in the package. Summary of the bids. All the bids met the requirements, but none of them were rejected. No.
Make the motion.
I make the motion for CMAX.
Okay, to accept CMAX's bid, NDOT. You second? Okay, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, CMAX has got the bid.
their bid was accepted.
Yeah. It's got a map. Did I say it wrong?
No, that's good.
All right. Back to number 5, engagement letter with,
Did you want to discuss that in the close?
No, we can come back to the table after that.
I recommend what Al said.
closed session.
Yeah, well, we'll table it and we'll, after closed session's complete, we can reopen that one.
Well, right, but we can discuss it close session.
Says adjustments?
Okay. Any minutes for the two meetings? Well, I've got to go, excuse me. We don't have a quorum.
Right, can we
I'll be right back.
just take a break?
Yeah, we're on.
Take a break.
That after